delicious. Blood in the air. One by one. Isolate and devour.
What is up guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to play Kha'Zix. Now if you're looking for a super fun AD assassin, then this is a champion that I can recommend. First of all, the jungle clear. Starting off with a Q, that's your low cooldown single target damaging ability. When a target is isolated, then you're going to deal bonus damage with your Q. So that is going to be a goal when you want to clear out the jungle. Use the Q and we win the auto attacks, and then we will proceed towards the Grump. And the W is going to give you some sustain as long as you are within the blast zone, and it's also AoE damage. The thing is, you can do the Grump pretty fast this season around, so it's a lot easier to do. And then you will proceed towards the wolves. Now here, the goal is to kill the small wolves first, because then you can get the isolation damage on the big one. That's what you want to do when you are, in a monster camp where they have multiple monsters. You try to kill the small ones first, so you can get the bonus damage on the bigger one. Just win the auto attacks with your Qs, and that should be fairly easy. When you have your E, you can jump straight into the chicken camp, and then you make sure that the W hits all of the small monsters as well as the big one. Right here, it doesn't matter, you don't have to focus down the small chickens because they will die pretty fast. And then you can proceed towards the red buff here. You have the smite. Now if you do get invaded, or if you feel like you're about to get invaded, then of course you want to smite the red buff, but otherwise keep it for the crux. But pull the buff into the bush here so you can see if somebody's coming to invade you, because it does happen when you play Kha'Zix. He is a bit weak early on. When you finish the red buff, you can just jump straight to the crux, and then, as I said, finish off the small one so you can get the isolation damage off on the big croc. And then just save your W so you can hit all of them at once, and then you also get some HP back. And that is how you clear. Of course you can optimize this and do it a bit faster, but this is how you want to go about it. Now you can just proceed towards the skull crab right here. And then you can look for a gank if you want to. Kha'Zix usually wants to get level 6 first, because that's why he starts becoming really strong. We can look for a counter gank here, because Malta is pretty overextended and he's playing as a Rek'Sai. So it's pretty obvious what is going to happen right here. So we picked off the kill on the Katarina, that's fine, we got 1 for 1. That's all good. We also secured the skull crab. If we could fix this wave, that'd be really nice though, so he doesn't try to freeze it. But the thing about Kha'Zix here is that it's really important that you play around the isolation damage on your Q. And your passive, so whenever you go out of vision for the enemy champion, then your auto attack becomes empowered. With the damage and the slow as well. So if you can constantly kite the opponent, so you go in and out of vision during a fight, then you can get a lot of extra damage and slow off. But just as important, isolation damage. When you're fighting the opponent, make sure they're not in a minion wave or standing close to other champions, because then you're losing out on a lot of damage from especially your Q. Same thing here. Clean out the small monsters first, and then you can finish the big one with the bonus damage, bonus isolation damage. We are looking to rush towards the level 6 first, because that is when we get the ultimate available, but that is also when we can upgrade one of the abilities. So they get bonus effects. Of course, he's an AD assassin, we want to build lethality, and the highest damaging mythic item we want to go for is the Prowler's Claw. That also gives us another gap closer that we can use towards the enemy champion. So besides that E we have for the dash, we also have an additional one with the item active. We are not gonna permagank, we still focus on farming up so we can get level 6, and then it is showtime. So we could pass towards this gold crab that's about to spawn, but I'm also looking at my bot lane, so they are not yet in lane, right? So if somebody comes to contest, I am going to be alone against them, so I don't feel like it's worth it. But she's still finishing off the small monsters just for that isolation damage. And then usually you just save your W to finish off a lot of small monsters at once. That also gives you sustain. We're almost level 6. We're just invading here and see if any camps are up. And we can see the Malsa is getting chased. Look at how I was standing still. The reason for that is so Rek'Sai cannot detect me in her passive. Now we got the ultimate, so the first ability that you want to evolve is usually your Q. Because now you get some bonus range on your Q. On top of that, when you're using Odd on a target that is isolated, you get 45% of the cooldown refunded. So that's a massive increase to your DPS and also your clear speed. So this is something that you can always evolve, your Q first. And that is something I always do every single game when I play this champion, because it helps with everything you want to do. Even when you want to take down the dragon or other objectives, you can do that a lot faster with your Q. And the ultimate you have makes you go invisible. So this has great synergy with your passive. Remember when I said that when you go out of vision, then the passive will refresh, meaning that your next auto attack is going to deal bonus damage and also slow the target. And with the ultimate that makes you go invisible, you can reset this passive in a fight, without having to dash into a bush to make them lose vision. It's also great for ganking because you are invisible for a short duration, so it can help you get past vision before people detect you. It's way easier to farm up with the evolved Q, so you can focus on power farming, but if you're looking to gank guys, make sure that you are still farming up. Just clean out the monster camps along the way. Now you can try to look for a brush gank, like a lane gank. I also do this a lot because people rarely have vision around here. We have the lens to make sure that it's not warded, because if it was, we would just clean it out and back off. And now we just have to wait. You can ult in. To make it a bit harder for the opponents to react. We got a really nice ultimate by the Seraphine. I had no clue how that one hit even though she flashed. It looks like it was going to miss, but we secured the kill because of that. But you can see I ulted in because that extra time of me being invisible to the opponents just makes it harder for them to react. And here you can see the magic with the evolved Q. You can really do these objectives way faster because of that 45% cooldown refund. But remember, you only get that refund if you are using it on isolated targets. So if I used it on the big wolf right now, while the small wolves are still alive, then I would not get the cooldown refund. We are sitting on a lot of gold, so we definitely have to look to recall as well, so we can get the Prowler's Claw, and that's going to be a massive spike. The first big spike you get is level 6, when you get the first evolution. And then the next one, of course, when you finish the first item, which is the mythic item. Seraphine has to watch out bot lane, so she does not get ulted. I'm trying to path around here so I can catch the Rek'Sai, because we knew she was coming this way here. I like to counter gang a lot, because if you become pretty good at tracking the enemy jungler, you can also you'll also know when they'll try to gank your allies. Previously, when we got that kill on the Katarina, it was because Malzahar was overextended, and we knew that the Rek'Sai was on the other side of the map to take down the Skull Crab. So if you become good at tracking the enemy jungler, you'll also know most of the time when they're going to gank, and then you can prepare a counter gank. And if you're stronger in a 2 vs 2, then that's most of the time going to result in at least one free kill. I'm gonna take away the Skull or the Herald here, not the Skull Crab, but the Herald. That is going to allow us to break open one of the towers. We're not going to use the top side. I'm sitting on a lot of gold, so I just want to go ahead and reset, and then we can use it on another lane, probably mid or top or mid or bot. Bot lane is the strongest role in the game, so it does make sense trying to snowball them, but at the same time you don't have an AD carry. We had 2 mages bot. But it's still a pretty strong duo with the Seraphine and the Brand. They have a lot of poke damage, and Seraphine can also peel and engage pretty well. But the Prowler's Claw, as I said, gives you the highest damage against squishy targets. You also have that active for another gap closer that will also increase your damage. So this is probably the best mythic item you can buy, but of course the other options are also pretty decent. That was so unfortunate that that blast cone was right there. If it was not, I think I might have been able to kill him. Because you dash in, then you want to auto attack first. You do that to proc your passive. And then you can Q and use your W, and then use your ultimate. Because when you go invisible, remember what I said, your passive is going to refresh, so you can get another auto attack in. So always make sure that you weave in the auto attacks with your Q. We're gonna take down the bot tower with the Herald here, and then maybe we can get the kill on the Misfortune as well. The tower is low HP, so it makes sense to go for this one. Whoops, I probably did not have the flash right here, but I was thinking that maybe she would survive with like 1 HP. And I was also not sure if she had the flash up, so I just wanted to get the damage off really fast. But it was a bit overkill with the flash. That was just in case if she actually survived with like 1 HP. KOA shot down, I think? Or maybe not, but we got the tower bot side. That's not the worst case scenario. Another big spike we are about to get is when we get level 11. So every single time you put a point into ultimate, you will also be able to evolve one of your abilities. In a normal game, you have 3 evolutions, but when you're playing against a Rengar, then there will be a quest where if you kill the Rengar first, then you will get access to the 4th evolution. So it's only possible to have 4 evolutions when you're playing against the Rengar and you complete that side quest, a mini quest, or whatever you call it. Otherwise it's going to be 3 evolutions, and the next one I do at level 11 most of the time is the E upgrade. The reason for the E upgrade is because it's going to extend the dashing range, and even more importantly, when you get a takedown, that E is going to reset. So what it allows you to do is that you can flank in a fight like an assassin normally would do. You get the kill on a squishy target by jumping in. As soon as you get the takedown, you can jump out. Or you can use that additional jump to keep chasing people, get another takedown, E resets, and then you just keep going. So you can tell how important that E is going to be in a fight. So we are level 10 right now. I'm not going to face check the brush because it was pretty obvious that somebody was camping there. We just want to get level 11, as I said, another massive spike. And yoinking that kill from the Malzahar. I also like to camp in brushes a lot, guys. You can do this if you have the red sweeper. But don't do it in brushes where people normally are going to ward. Either you have to get in deeper inside the enemy territory, where they don't expect you to camp, because if somebody comes and face checks you while you're playing Kha'Zix in the mid game and you have your items, it's a squishy target, they are 100% dead. Almost level 11, so that's what we are waiting for. Also, another important thing when you are evolving one of your abilities, do not do it during a fight. Do not do it when the opponent is close, because what happens when you evolve is that you are going to be locked up for some time where you cannot do anything. So if you're trying to evolve in front of an opponent, and it's an opponent that can win against you in a 1 versus 1, you'll probably end up dead, or you have to use all of your sums to get out. Just need one more minion or a monster, and then we are level 11, and then we are going to go with the E upgrade. As I said, we are going to do this because it gives us that extended dashing range, and also that reset, which is so crucial for these fights. A cool mechanic you can do, while you're dashing with your E, you can also use your Q. So you can, for example, dash, and then mid-air you can use your Q to last hit a low HP champion, and then you can just dash again immediately. A little bit unfortunate with the Rek'Sai flash coming in. If she did not flash, I would just DO her. But you can see the E resetting constantly. That's why it is so useful. It allows you to keep chasing people, so even if they flash away, they are not escaping. But it also allows you to go for a kill and then just disengage. But pay attention to how I'm engaging the fights. I'm using that ultimate invisibility to get within range, like get as close as possible before people spot me. Then I get that one auto attack in first, because that passive is going to make it so it slows people. And then immediately cancel that auto attack, or like animation cancel it with a Q. After that you just re-win your abilities, of course also using that W, which is the next ability that I'm going to evolve, because that is one that enables you to be a pretty good team fighter as well. Normally assassins are not known for being good in team fights, but if you evolve your W, you're going to get additional spikes, and they will slow, and if the target is isolated, that is going to be a 90% slow. So that is ridiculous. That makes you much better at catching people. But also if you just hit an entire enemy team with that W, it's also a decent amount of damage, on top of slowing people. So you provide some damage and also some utility. Also, if you're wondering the reason we have the green smite, the tenacity and the shield, of course Kha'Zix is a champion that has a pretty easy time of catching people. He has a lot of mobility, but he's squishy. He has the damage and he has the mobility, but he's squishy, so that's why the green smite comes in. You see that double jump I did previously? Is this Katarina going to escape? You see right there, the gap closing range? That is why you evolve your E, guys. On top of that, the Prowler's Claw also helped out for the gap closing purpose. Are we getting another takedown on the Rek'Sai? this is a champion that snowballs really hard. That is the goal of an assassin. Get a couple kills in the early game to get your items and then you just snowball out of control. And because you have that invisibility on your ultimate, this champion becomes really hard to play around for the enemy team. But you need to have that mindset of an assassin. Wait for the team fight to start, find a good flanking position, wait until people lost focus of you. When they're completely focused on the fight, that's when you go in. You find the main carries on the enemy team. If that's not possible, go for the squishy targets, get that kill, that reset on the E, and then you can either disengage or you can engage once again with that E. Normally, instead of getting the Edge of Night or the Humus, you can get the armor pin, but in this game we are so far ahead and people barely have any armor. So that's why I'm not buying it right now. But usually as the third item you usually go for Cerulda's Grudge. Because normally people will always have armor. But we are we are super far ahead this game, so it's not needed right now, but I'm still going to buy it after. Getting a super easy takedown. And then we can just use the Prolos for another dash and you can see how hard it is to escape from this champion. We are almost level 16 guys. As I said, the ability we're going to upgrade is going to be the W. You could evolve your ultimate as well, but I feel like it does not help as much as your W. There are different use cases for each evolution, but if you decide to evolve your ultimate, what it's going to do is that it's going to increase the invisibility duration to 2 seconds and then also allow you to recast it another time. So instead of being able to recast it once, like we are right now, we can do it one more time. Which is also another really good evolution, but I do prefer the W. Because it makes this champion a good team fighter as well. You can just perma-spam your W in a fight, you're going to slow everybody down, and if they're isolated, they'll be slowed by 90%. I can just keep chasing here. Oh man, that is so unfortunate. I think I accidentally canceled one auto attack or something. That's why the misfortune survived. But you can see, I put a point into the ultimate, but I did not evolve any ability. Because if I pressed on one of the evolutions, I would be stuck on the spot. And then I would just have immediately died. I still ended up dying right here, but it can really cost you the fight if you accidentally do that. Now we are going for the W evolution, guys. You can easily go for the ultimate evolution too, but the W evolution is so insane for your team fighting potential, but also if you just want to catch people in a 1 vs 1 or 1 vs 2, because you get additional spikes on that W that also slows, as I said. The Kha'Zix is a champion that can do Baron pretty fast, because it's always isolated. So if you have somebody who can help you with the Baron, you know, tanking the damage or something, then it's an objective that you can do pretty early on. Because the target is always isolated, meaning that you get lots of single target Q abilities off. And if you have a brand too, that's going to go down pretty fast. The Humus Ghost Blade is another item that's going to help you with gap closing, because you get that extra bonus movement speed. You don't have to buy it, but it definitely helps. I did pop the ultimate right here. That was to stay invisible in case she decided to engage on the Fiora, because then she would not expect me to be there. But maybe this was thwarted some way. That made her decide to not engage. Would it take down the support though? And also the good thing here is that because you get so much ability haste with your build, all of your ability cooldowns will be pretty low. So even if you have to use your ultimate to escape or something, it doesn't matter. It's going to be off cooldown pretty fast. Excellent ultimate by the Seraphine that is going to secure us the Dragon Soul. Always play around the objectives. That is how you're going to close out the games. We're going to get the last dragon right here. There's nobody here to contest. We got the Rek'Sai, so this one is pretty secured. And there we have the soul. So this game is pretty much over. But this is pretty much the potential of Kha'Zix. The champion is very good in solo queue, because he's pretty good at punishing, targets that overextend, don't respect the opponents, and that is something that happens all the time in solo queue. It's a lot harder to make him work, in competitive games, pro play and stuff, because people are a lot more coordinated. So in a fight, it will be very difficult for you to get isolation damage off. But in solo queue, it's super easy because people are not coordinated most of the time. They do whatever they want to, somebody's always going to overextend. So Kha'Zix is a champion that's very good at punishing that. You can see that massive isolation damage is absolutely ridiculous. But that is what you can do on this champion if you master him, guys. This is the potential of AD assassins in the jungle, and especially Kha'Zix. So now if you're looking for a high mobile AD assassin, then this is a champion I can recommend. But that was the video. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you all next time.